I wasn't even intentionally dunking. I was just talking out of my ass, as I do all the time.
I think we should issue a challenge to UConn. Prove to us that you have box seats
by giving us one.
They did. There was one guy in the replies that had a picture.
I just find it funny that the two of us who were dunking on Rentschler Field are the two of us who have been to Rentschler Field.
It's true. Also, the two of us who are former Big East members. So
this is true.
Yeah, you just bringing up like Big East hatred here, and I'm all on the like. I posted a video. I'm like, holy crap! Like, what happened? Like, I angered the Huskies' hornets' nest.
The thing about it is like you angered the Huskies youngins because like the older Huskies fans know how to respond to this. You respond to this by telling me to like go marry my cousin and telling Pitt Girl to go eat shit. Like that's what you do.
This is true. What I'm getting out of this actually is that UConn fans don't know what it's like to have rivals that aren't UMass anymore.
Yeah, like they've forgotten the old ways. It makes me sad.
We're teaching the children, actually.
Welcome, everyone.
I'll just say it. I'm over here. I'm like, I'm from the one. Like, I knew there was Big East hatred, but Jesus Christ, I was not ready for that Friday morning.
Welcome, everyone, to the Six Committee Podcast. This is our podcast for the evening of September 29th, 2024. We are through week 5. We have yet another data point to put on the old graph or spreadsheet or whatever. Pitt Girl?
Yeah, we can do like a whole curve now if we want to. We got a lot of points.
We can abuse this data fit to our advantage because now there's lots of points and we can go, oh, that exponential line through there, that clearly means you're going to get exponentially more touchdowns the next couple weeks. This line fits.
Line go up.
I think this is how I proved that. Who won the College World Series drinking contest this past year? Was it Tennessee?
Yes.
No.
The Jello shot contest?
Yes.
It feels weird. I guess it is alcohol, but it feels weird to just call that a drinking contest.
I feel like at one point I figured out that Tennessee was going to either consume over 12 million shots or negative 30,000, just depending on the line I used.
That's how math works.
Both lines fit, though. Got great fit numbers there.
We're good at this.
Remember, grad students, that's all that matters.
We're professionals.
As always, I'm Jordan. With me tonight, I have Commish, Beth, Pitt Girl, and Arthur on the ones and twos. Commish, how are you, sir?
I'm battling through strep throat. So if I'm a little gravelly or if you hear like a lozenge in my throat or something like that, I apologize in advance. This is Commish's flu game podcast. So I'm here. Let's go.
Beth, how are you?
Strangely fighty for a Sunday night. Let's go.
Jesus. Pitt Girl?
It's just so moist in central PA right now. It has been overcast and 65 degrees and like lightly raining all day, every day for the last week. And it's supposed to be like this until like Thursday. And I was out of state over the weekend and I got to see the sun. And that was really nice because I kind of forgot what it looked like.
No. Welcome to the gray. Don't worry. We'll see the sun again. That's called April.
I don't even live in Pittsburgh anymore. Why is it like this?
I mean, I was over 90 today. Ew. I believe in Phoenix, it's like 114.
Ew.
I looked at the forecast in San Antonio. The extended forecast, the next 10 days, the lowest high that I have is 93.
Ooh.
Yeah.
On Friday, it might go up to a balmy 75.
Ooh, so fancy.
So we got through this week. I think the first thing we need to talk about, first off, we know folks in Asheville are just hurting incredibly. if you check our timeline, we have a couple things where people can donate money if you're so inclined. This is like a million-year event for Asheville. This is not, you're not supposed to flood that high up in the mountains.
Nope.
It is tragic. We hope everyone who's out there is taking care of themselves. We hope people are going to be okay on the other side of this.
Personally, in the past, I dealt with Katrina and delayed responses to catastrophic events. You know, stuff like this inland is not supposed to happen, I would say. So really not built for it. So we our hearts go out to like Boone, some areas of South Carolina, Tennessee, like some areas washed out, like the interstate washed out. There was incredible, roads impassable, just a lot of damage, just a lot of heartbreaking things that you see. We're going to try to keep, promoting things to where you can donate to help. If you have any, let us know. Let us know on the timeline. Add us. We want to help. We just don't know where to direct the help, where to do that. And once you give us a direction, we will go for full force and try to help as much as possible.
We here at the committee like food banks. So you can go to feedingamerica.org and look for the local food bank for the area that you want to support the most. I can tell you off the top of my head that the food bank for Western North Carolina is Manna Food Bank. They do great work. You want to give them a hand. You want to give the East Tennessee food banks a hand. You want to give the Georgia food banks a hand. I guarantee you they are out there. If they have their lights on and they have power, and maybe even if they don't, they are out there handing out water and food. So give the folks who are on the ground doing the work a little bit of support. We highly encourage it.
If there are chains that you know of that are in those areas, likely they are cut off from resupply, but it's not a bad idea to put a little bit of pressure on their corporate area to remind them that they can donate wastage out to people, and they should be donating that out to those people. It's not like the credit machines are up and running anyway. So, putting the screws to people a little bit in a good cause here will save lives, and maybe many lives. That area of Appalachia is a very, very, very dear part of my heart. I have spent a lot of my life down in that southern West Virginia, northern Virginia, western Carolina, eastern Tennessee area. It is an area that is very remote. If you've traveled around and you've tried to get to places like Brevard, you know that it takes some doing and some winding to get there. And whenever you talk about roads being washed away, it's really a horrific situation. Everything that you can do, if you are working with any groups trying to put together things, look up flood buckets. Those are something that it's an enormous help to people who are dealing with flooding, especially in mountainous areas, and anything that you can do to try to get potable water to people. If you are, I don't know how you would possibly be listening to this, but if you're in a situation where you cannot get potable water, you can sometimes get something drinkable if you run it through 7 t-shirts. It's not a great solution, but it's better than dying.
This did affect our stupid little corner of the world a little bit this weekend. We had a couple of games canceled, including, I think the big one was the Liberty App State game that got canceled. Boone was literally underwater, was never going to happen. Some games went on that people didn't necessarily need to happen, but we did them anyways. I will shout out East Tennessee State. They ended up stranded on the side of the road for about 12 hours heading to the Citadel because the game time didn't get moved until way later. They got stranded. Basically, I believe it was like in a parking lot, and the water was they just got cut off, couldn't do anything, no cell phone service or anything. ETSU coach Trey Lamb was in tears talking about this because it is that is a harrowing fucking situation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have broken down with high school kids in a school bus on the side of the road when it was just hot, and that was panicky. I can't imagine having trying to roll into the Citadel and the team bus just gets laid up. Things like Louisville had to take a bus up to Notre Dame. things were just way off. What game was it today? It was Davidson and Presbyterian?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. The
Ended up
blue
moving their games
clothes.
today. So this is how hit our little weird world too. So like we said, if you have places to donate to, let us know and we'll post ours as well and do what we can. Okay, so our games this week. What was your overarching feel for the weekend, Commish?
Overarching theme of the weekend?
Yeah, like what did it feel like to you?
It feels like there was a lot of wild swings where there was a lot of comebacks. There was a lot of near comebacks. There was a lot of no lead was safe. There was a lot of that going on this week.
That's what I thought so too. We had this thing where teams would get out to really big leads and then all of a sudden like a wasting disease got them and they just stopped being able to do anything. It was pretty wild to see this happen several times. We also had several 1-point wins.
Yeah,
Like
it
these
started in the beginning of the day, and then it just kept happening over and over and over. And we had a lot of close football, which is always exciting, and just a lot of yelling on our timeline, like they got a field goal to win.
So then let's talk about our game of the week. Charlotte at Rice, ESPN Plus. Charlotte wins this one 21-20 on a missed Rice field goal from the 40. This was at the same time as Alabama, Georgia, which ended up being a game that even I watched part of. I wasn't expecting to do that.
No, we'll get there.
We'll get there. But this one was on the same time slot, and I felt like it was like us and one other account talking about this game at all. Like this game just did not exist to most people, which again, I think Commish, you did a great job choosing Charlotte Rice for that very reason.
That was the main thing. There was just one tweet from one person that was just like, it didn't even follow the committee.
No, don't
And
even care.
it's basically kind of
Podcat has
made me go
opinions
this way.
about Charlotte at Rice. folks.
Podcast is definitely attacking Beth due to Charlotte at Rice. She thinks Rice is in Beth's hair, apparently. A BIFF fried this rice.
Biff looked
I'm so glad we
resplendent.
got to use the graphic.
I'm glad to. I'm heartbroken for the Rice kicker, but I'm glad we got to use the graphic that we made.
It was
And
a really good graphic.
There were some folks that were like, "I'm so glad you got to use the graphic that you made up."
This did feel like it was just a dozen of us watching this game. This felt like our little secret during everything else. Every time we tweet out about it, people were surprised that this game was like happening, basically.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed that. I just kept like giving highlights for this. Like everybody's yelling like, "Oh my God, look at that 17-year-old make catches for Alabama." I'm like, Rice takes a 10-0 lead. I enjoyed that
out
way too
early
much.
and Rice got out early. Charlotte clawed it back. Like it was another one of those, not as big as a 28-0 lead, but close. You know who got a lead and didn't claw it back? UConn 47, Buffalo 3. Now, Pitt Girl, I know you were traveling for part of this day, so I know you're hearing some of this for the first time.
Yes, this one is news for me. I spent the noon and 3:30 slates driving and listening to the Blitz, except for when I was driving through Northeast Pennsylvania and had no cell signal at all and could not listen to the Blitz. So yeah, this is one that I got home and I looked at my phone and I was like, oh, because that is not what I expected.
No, not at all. And so let's do a little transitive property here. UConn beat Buffalo, beat Northern Illinois, beat Notre Dame. So UConn has the independent transitive win now.
That's lovely. That's what you want, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this was mega ChadCon. Like this was like, damn, UConn had 533 yards to Buffalo's 196. And ran over their asses. Ran them the fuck over.
Pete Lem Buffalo stayed in Buffalo, apparently. But yikes, man. I feel like this, I'm gonna claim that we caused UConn to do this to Buffalo.
Oh, good. I was going to if you didn't.
Oh,
Okay.
maybe the
I'm claiming.
rage from us
Yes.
slandering, and by us I mean me, slandering Rentschler Field fueled
Yes.
them to this victory. You're welcome, Huskies.
That's what I'm gonna. And then we're getting added today, like the Sickos committee when UConn is actually good and like just being upset. I'm like, no, we root for you, UConn.
Man, somebody forgot all the Husky Revolution memes.
I mean, you forgot all about the Husky Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
We're all about the Husky Revolution.
Those fat children that were marching shoulder to shoulder.
We were yelling at the bowl season account. Where the hell is UConn's bowl season shirt? When
I made a bowl season shirt logo for them.
We did that.
Not with my preferred Husky though. I will always every time I post UConn stuff, I always use Sad Husky, and everyone's always confused.
Sad Husky is the correct Husky.
I mean, no, I kind of like for UConn. There's like a different. It's not the current logo. It's one where like the Husky looks kind of like, I don't want to say like fabulous, but like
Farrah Fawcett Husky.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like that one.
I do like Farrah Fawcett Husky as Fabulous Husky.
Glam Husky.
Two things can be true.
Fabulous Husky has like pink nails.
Mm-hmm.
Look at me. I'm fabulous. I had
Blowout
552
ski.
yards.
Yeah, Fab Husky just went to the salon.
For how many of us was the very first thing we got from home field a UConn thing?
I mean, it was within my first several. Yes.
Yeah. Same.
I mean, done. This was a complete domination.
Like they just fucking ran him over. It wasn't even close. At no point was this game ever. Ooh, I don't know. UConn's looking a little. Domination.
The only thing that Buffalo scored was the field goal at the end of the first half by I love Buffalo's kicker's name.
What is it?
Do you want to know what it is?
Yes.
It is Upton Belafont.
Ooh.
And he made a 47-yarder to make it 23-3 at the half.
We don't have enough Uptons anymore.
Upton.
It's a jungle out there.
Quick, name a second Upton Sinclair book.
That's so mean. I hate you.
No.
Whenever someone references ballet, who I know is a musician, my comment is always, quick, name a second ballet. And watch him just like, because it's always Swan Lake and then crumble.
The Nutcracker?
That'll do, yeah.
Giselle.
What about New Mexico 50, New Mexico State 40 in the Battle of Enchantment, Entanglement. Better than the Rio Grande rivalry. Like, let's not. Yeah, I don't love that. Anyways, New Mexico gets their first win under Bronco Mendenhall after a couple of close calls.
This was a very pointsy boy.
Right?
It was one where New Mexico State made a mistake with like a turnover, and then they just kept going back and forth like a tennis match, and New Mexico State couldn't stop New Mexico, and they just kept. This was great because, I mean, New Mexico is leading by like 16 at one point or something, 16 or 17, or I don't know exactly what it was at the end, but they just kept trading touchdown after touchdown after touchdown after touchdown, and the game was not necessarily, out of reach for New Mexico State, but the Lobos just kept putting up points, and then New Mexico State was like, okay, we will return this serve, but we're still. It felt like an old school Texas Tech game, a little bit.
Whoever has the ball last is going to win. Yeah.
Oh no, it was just like Texas Tech couldn't stop the other team, but they maybe threw like a pick six or something, and they're trying to get those points back, but they just couldn't do it. And it's like a 10-point lead, like it's just back and forth. New Mexico scores 17. New Mexico State scores, it's 10. New Mexico scores, it's 17 again. Then it's 10, 17, 10, back and forth. It was a great watch. Unless you're a New Mexico State fan.
I will give big credit to Bronco Mendenhall. He's bringing some of that BYU magic. 170 yards of penalties.
Yep.
For the Lobos. Holy shit, y'all.
To be clear, even when he was at Virginia, Bronco Mendenhall's teams were like this. They're just like this. He's just out here encouraging nut punching. It's fine.
Yeah. We're just going to do that. New Mexico also had 2 dudes with 3 TDs on the ground, Nakari Rogers and their quarterback, Devin Dampier. When your QB runs in for 3 TDs, that's impressive.
He's fun. He's
Yes.
fun to watch. God, he's been fun to watch all year. Very
Watching
enjoyable.
him, the New Mexico game is probably the Montana State game is probably the one I watched them the most in, and just so much fun to watch this kid play ball.
I watched him have fun against Arizona, and the Arizona New Mexico game was 61-39. So
Yeah.
this kind of reminded me of this, which was, it was just, again, there's a lead. It's been established maybe early third quarter, but then they just keep trading touchdowns. And I mean, that's a lot of fun to watch. I'm just going to say that.
FIU 17, Louisiana Tech 10. I watched 0 of this game.
I also watched 0 of this game. Did not know the score of this game until you just told me. So, you know.
I watched it. Wasn't
Yeah,
much
you
going
did.
on. Wasn't much going on at Pitbull Stadium. The first half was 7-0 FIU.
Oh God.
That was it. Really, not too many turnovers, not too much anything really. Like both teams had about the same amount of yards. I don't even think that it was really much to write about this game. But FIU scored a touchdown in the first half. It was 14-0. La Tech fought back to 14-10. I'm like, here we go with these leads again. And then FIU gets a field goal. Midway through the fourth, and 17-10, and that was enough.
I cannot fathom having to be a sports writer for a game like this. Like having to judge up a 17-10 win.
I mean, couldn't we just ask like basically any Big Ten beat writer about how that goes?
Sure, we actually know plenty of Big Ten beat writers.
Mhm.
So yeah, that makes total sense.
There was a little bit of fun in the second half where there was La Tech had 2 plays fumble, and then FIU went 4 plays fumble. There was
Okay.
a little fun there.
That's
but then
silly.
that's what basically got FIU their field goal. They held. There was a little silliness, but nothing too crazy. There was one drive that La Tech had, which you pointed out, you thought was going to be the winner, but it was not the winner this week. La Tech had a drive of 17 plays, 55 yards, 8 minutes and 28 seconds, turnover on downs.
Jesus Christ.
Oof.
That's so demoralizing.
Stuffed at the 1 by the FIU defense.
Oh,
Ouch. Ouch.
I
But
think
that
it's
is not-
gangrene, guys.
That is not the
Pit Bulls.
that is not the longest non-scoring drive of the week. We'll get to that a little bit later.
Oh,
Okay.
God.
God. Yeah.
Oh, this is actually a good one, which is I'm excited to tell you about it later.
Okay.
TCU 38, Kansas 27. I'm less interested in the game and more about the stuff around it. Kansas fans are bleak, y'all.
Yeah, Kansas, are you okay? Like, you're
No.
not okay.
They're not
Jalen
okay.
Daniels isn't looking great. It doesn't look like it's working anymore. I don't know why. Kansas fans probably have some ideas. This drops Kansas to 1-4, 0-2 in conference.
I'm just gonna say at least they didn't blow a fourth quarter lead this time.
I mean, I
They've blown
guess.
3 already this year. So
Okay,
Yeesh.
this
you're
one
doing the Nebraska thing.
this one kind of I watched this one, and Kansas was on fire, and so was TCU. Back and forth, back and
Commish,
forth, back and
Why
forth.
what were you watching this on, sir?
ESPN
Surely
Plus.
TCU. No, I'm sorry. No, TCU says they don't play on chump networks,
Oh,
Yeah.
like the CW. So they were on. This was on ABC, CBS. What was it on? What did you say?
Fox.
ESPN Plus.
Oh,
Oh.
ESPN. You said ESPN 2.
Nope.
Did they broadcast it on ESPN News?
Ooh, they did. Yeah, they brought back ESPN Classic just for this game.
Oh, okay.
Oh, man, pour one out for ESPN Classic, though.
Bring it
Yeah.
back. Bring it back.
That channel became ACC Network.
Okay, never mind. We need to keep ACC Network.
Yeah, that's where do you think all the ads for the fucking like pill bottle labels covers go?
I mean, just bring back ESPN Classic and play like the NFL films that I grew up as a kid watching.
Bring back
uh,
bring
yeah.
back ESPN Classic and only play ACC games on it, and see how long it takes for anyone to notice.
ACC Classic, but nothing but Cal versus Stanford.
Yes.
The band is on the
The
field.
band is on the field, and that is ESPN Classic, ACC Network. Classic AC. Wait,
Classic.
Classic.
Oh God, that's an
ESPN
awful set of mouth
Classic.
sounds.
Now I'm
That's an
thinking
awful
of
set
the.
of mouth sounds.
Jordan,
Jesus.
Jordan, I'm gonna need you to make a graphic for ESPN Classic.
Yeah, I'll get that on the list.
Thank you.
Can you make it in the style of the Kid and Play movie Class Act?
Ooh,
Ooh,
Oh, that's a great movie.
that's a pull.
It is. It is a.
yeah. This was all over the place. Like it was a very pointsy game. Clearly, TCU just found an extra gear at the end and took it. They basically in the fourth quarter with 11:20 left put it away because after that Kansas couldn't do shit. And this revision to Kansas mean?
I hope not. I like good Kansas. It's fun.
It feels like there's a combination of the defense is not that great,
No, they're not.
and the offense doesn't help them.
Mm.
Well, when they turn the ball over, it is the worst time to turn the ball over. Like sometimes it's like, okay, you're at the, you're in the red zone, whatever. It's a turnover, and they get it at like their own 10. But like Kansas turns it over, and the team's like inside Kansas's 10.
Yeah.
If it's not a pick six or a scoop and score, it's just they kept giving up so many big plays to TCU. It's like TCU on the first play is 70-something yards for a touchdown. I'm like, damn it, Kansas. Come on, man.
You're right, though. It's as if Kansas is conducting an experiment to find the worst possible time to have a back-breaking turnover. And so we have to try out all of the variations so that we can definitively say, no, this is the worst time.
Maybe
This was
Kansas and Auburn are in some sort of research pool
I was
together.
just gonna say I think Auburn actually
Hey.
might get the.
Oh,
might
it's
get the
double
worst
blind
symptom.
because there's two of them.
Is that what that means?
Yes, when you blind two people, it's called double blind.
Kansas and Auburn fans may have wished they've been blind to avoid this week too. Sorry,
We'll
guys.
get there.
Somebody
Sorry,
needs to
y'all.
get Kansas Auburn house divided
God.
jersey.
Oh,
that's
God.
it's the worst vibes in that house.
If you are a Kansas Auburn fan, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Also, please identify yourself in our replies because I would like to talk to you.
Rock,
The
chalk,
psychological-
or eagle? No.
Oh,
Yeah,
Eagle.
Rock
the
Eagle.
the psychological
damn Jayhawk.
profile of a Kansas Auburn fan. Actually, I like War Damn Jayhawk a
There's
lot.
so
War
many-
damn Jayhawk. That's right.
God, we're full of ideas today.
How about SMU 42, Florida State 16? I
LOL.
watched large chunks of this. Favorite part to start with? SMU legend Eric Dickerson on the ACC Network pregame show.
I also watched large chunks of this game. My favorite part of this game was when the SMU crowd got on the crowd mic very clearly chanting DJ sucks. No offense, DJ, but that shit's hilarious.
I I assume those were Florida State fans too.
Maybe. I just as an ACC fan, the irony of Florida State suing to leave the conference and specifically throwing SMU under the bus as a team that does not deserve to be here, and then just getting like rolled over. Mwah.
I wasn't
Like-
feeling great yesterday, and so I completely missed that this game happened.
Oh,
Like,
this
I
is fun
woke
for
up
you
this
then.
morning, I'm like, I wonder if Florida State played yesterday. I'm like, oh, God.
I mean, kind of they didn't.
Yeah, Jesus.
I want to say Florida State is ruining my theory a little bit here. That I have, if you get a safety in the game, that you pretty much almost always win the game.
I mean,
And
we got
Florida
someone
State-
else who's ruining that theory too.
Yeah, there's a few other, but this was the
This-
closest
this
week that I had
safety-
in research. This safety,
Like, talk about the safety because it was my favorite kind of safety.
it was the one where the punter's on the end line, but like SMU's got to snap it from like their own one, so they don't
Mhm.
even get the 15 yards at all. And so the punter's got to, like, you know, crank it down or downshift the snap a little bit. And
He did not.
He did
Listeners,
not
he did not
downshift.
downshift that snap.
He
That
did
went.
not- it went straight to the cameraman almost. Basically,
It was
almost
high.
went straight
It was
to the
high
camera.
enough. It was high enough that the punter didn't even jump for it.
To
He
the
looked at it
moon.
over his head.
It's
And-
like one of those. The center fielder just turns around, doesn't even bother to run.
Mhm.
You know it's gone.
Oh.
The putter just went, okay. It's
Just
The best part
hill
was
hop.
the camera swings around on this shot, and there's a Sesame cheerleader back there, just like cheer, like go Mustangs. Like was not paying attention to this play at all.
and then
And-
you can see their face at the end. It's just like, oh crap, the other team just
Yeah.
scored.
DJU threw for 222, 2 TDs, 3 interceptions. I believe his Detmer will be going up.
He got pulled at the end of this game, but the game was
did.
kind of out of hand at this point
Well,
anyway.
Friends of the show, Split Zone Duo on the Hurry Up, said that they thought that might have been because he like got a scrape on his hand too. So it might not have been that he got pulled. It might have been an injury thing. I guess we'll find out next week.
Florida State went 3 for 12 on third downs.
Ouch.
That's what you got to know about this one. That's not a winning formula, gang.
That's not very many.
No, that's not how you win games, Florida State. The Florida State morale was already broken. The Cal game didn't help. Surprise.
But they
It
won
was-
that game.
Yeah, but it didn't make them feel any better. Like we knew it wouldn't. And so in their brains, that just is like pasted over at this point.
Well,
is not-
I mean, I'm sure it gets better next week, right?
Wait, where's Florida State playing next week?
They're home against Little Old Clemson.
Have fun, kids.
Jesus Christ. Okay. You want to talk about a game between two teams that the morale just really sucks at this point?
Mm-hmm.
Wyoming 31, Air Force 19.
Ahem.
Ouch.
Air Force.
Army
Me
2.
too.
Two. Both
Still
these
no
teams-
touchdown passes for
No,
Army 2.
no.
Oh,
No.
I
Their
checked.
quarterback has thrown 0 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. One day Army 2 will throw a touchdown pass. One day.
When he throws one touchdown pass, how is that going to get him Detmer ranked? Or are we waiting more heavily for lots of touchdowns now?
Do you
No,
want to
the
know how
problem
many?
is any completions. Like I don't think no completions even make like the cutoff.
Do you-
Okay.
Okay, so let me just show you what he's at for the year. I'll tell you what the Army 2 QB is at for the year.
Give me his name. Let's figure out a name here.
All right, name is John Busha.
Cool. Okay.
Okay.
Regular season stats: 19 for 52, 240 yards passing,
Okay.
no touchdowns, 2 interceptions, a long of 33
You said that was one game, correct?
all year.
Honestly, that's more attempts than I was expecting.
So Ashton Genty has more yards rushing than this quarterback had passing all season. He had that
Mm-hmm.
this
And-
week.
And fewer interceptions.
Yes, Ashton Genty didn't throw any interceptions. That's correct. He just threw Washington State players all over the place.
Oh my God.
God,
He would throw me so far. I would look like, DJ Jazzy Jeff being tossed out of the house by Uncle Phil.
Oh, I'd look like a lawn dart.
Jesus. Okay. This was our Thursday night game, and it was a lot of fun for a lot of
Let me shout out to Wyoming real quick. They got their
Okay,
first win
good.
on the year. They got their first win on the year. So congrats to
Yay!
Wyoming. They're
Yay!
1-4. Does this right the ship? I don't know. They play San Diego State next week. Who knows? Because San Diego State was quite interesting this week too.
Oh God.
Hee-hee.
Temple 42, Army. Sorry, I flipped this. Army 42, Temple 14.
Temple
Man,
decimates
man,
Army.
I
bad.
wish.
Original recipe army.
The Owls obliterate the Army.
Shout out to 4-0, 5-0, undefeated Army. We love undefeated Army, a thing that we have not seen this late in the season since literally the Second World War.
1945.
Yeah. Okay, so just after. Whatever. Close
No,
enough.
it was the last year of the war. It counts.
It's both Army and Navy being undefeated. So it's not just Army. It's
Well,
both.
Okay.
Folks, we have a new follower of the Sickos Committee account because of this game.
Oh,
Yeah.
One Coach Dan Mullen follows us now. The faces, folks, are so oh my god. Beth and Hickrell's faces, like, yeah.
Welcome, Coach.
I need an
Yeah.
adult.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about his Eric Prydz concert
We did.
appearance. You know,
That's right, we did.
he did in the off season.
So he and Matt Berry are in the booth doing this game, and they were talking about, they were just like housing Philly cheesesteaks on camera at this point because the game was out of hand.
As you do.
Harry Lyles was just, I mean, he wasn't saying a thing. He was just eating the cheesesteak.
Harry's the best part of like this group, y'all. If you haven't watched a Thursday game, the Matt Berry, Dan Mullen, Harry Lyles Jr. combo,
It's a
great.
vibe.
Like it is a vibe. It's perfect for Thursdays. It's not, you don't want them calling Alabama, Georgia. You want them calling Army Temple.
It's perfect.
Although
Oh,
sending
they're going
them
to be
Red
calling a
River
Pitt
would
game
be
later
real
this season.
fun.
That's exciting.
Say it one more time, Pitt Girl.
Sorry, they're going to be, I just realized Pitt plays on Thursday later this season. They're going to be calling a Pitt game later this season.
That might be good.
And what did Beth say?
Yeah, Beth, what did you say?
Oh, I said that sending them to Red River would be hysterical.
It
Yeah,
would.
that's
Harry
the
Lyles
wrong
eating all the
vibe for this
steaks there
group.
for, yeah.
We got a shout out because they were just housing Philly cheesesteaks, and they were talking about how us in No Context CFB were getting, great shots tonight. And
We were.
yeah, I assume that Dan Mullen goes, "What's the Sickos Committee?" or something along that lines. And Matt Berry shows him, and lo and behold, we have a new follower.
Hi, Coach.
Welcome. Remember that you need to turn in your ballot this week.
That's right. Don't forget
Yes.
to vote.
You gotta vote.
If you're in line, stay in line.
There was about a moment at the end of the first half where Temple looked like they might have figured this out. They had Army like just really not doing Army things. Second half totally changed. I will say that I saw an illegal batting penalty.
Ooh.
Hmm.
And the best part was the refs got together and had to be like, okay, hey, remind me, is this the symbol we use? Because they were all like doing it, trying to figure it out. It was great.
I feel like usually you have to be playing baseball to get illegal batting.
Well, do you know what illegal batting is in football?
No.
Illegal batting basically means that you can't hit the ball as you're going down to get an advantage of some sort. And basically it was a fucked up pitch and the dude on the pitch just punched the ball out of bounds.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Oh, okay, yeah. I knew that you couldn't do that. I just didn't know that that was what it was called.
So we know it's illegal batting.
Yeah, I have seen this called occasionally. It does happen.
What's the rugby term? It's on or forward or something. It's what the rugby penalty they keep calling.
It's a knock on.
Knock on. Thank you. Knock on.
Yeah.
Army did unspeakable things to Temple. And the worst part was had those beautiful couple of passes Navy did too this week where everyone's in so close trying to stop the run. And then all of a sudden just 40-yard bomb over their heads. So disrespectful. We also had a great Friday night game. Rutgers 21, Washington 18.
Oh, well, we had a lot of great Friday night games.
Mm-hmm. Both of them were amazing.
Both were amazing.
I missed most of this game because I was watching the other Friday night game and I was not in my usual location and was streaming this on my laptop, and they're on two different providers, so I couldn't quad box them. I was just disappointed that this game didn't go to overtime, but shout out to the clock operator in Piscataway for whatever that was. Linear time was a mistake. I agree with you, clock operator. You're fighting the good fight.
Phantom seconds showing up on the clock. It was bizarre.
Hey, leap seconds are a thing.
How often though? Leap seconds are once every couple of years, maybe.
He was just trying to catch up for the past few years that Rutgers hadn't done it. So,
hey Huskies, life comes at you fast.
One day you're the belle of the ball. The next day you're playing in Piscataway on a Friday.
The next day, you are the spinach team of the week.
Oh, were they?
Were they?
They were, according to
Yes.
our Lord of the Spreadsheeter, Kevin. So let's pull up the box score, everybody, and take a look at Washington.
Pitt Girl, go ahead. What you're saying?
Yes,
How far leap
while we're pulling up the box score, I just want everyone to know that leap seconds are added to civil time to keep clocks in sync with Earth's rotations. Leap seconds are inserted about once every 19 months, always on June 30th or December 31st.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I didn't realize it was that bad.
Oh, they were the spinach
I
team of the
did.
week.
I was
I did.
excited
Jesus
to be-
Christ.
I pinged Kevin as soon as this game ended. I was like, we got a winner here, I think. And I was correct.
Beth, you want to read how many yards Washington's defense going for?
Do you mean the 521 total yards?
Oh,
yeah, for 18
God.
points.
Mhm.
Just
Well, surely they turned the ball over a bunch. That must be why they had so many yards with so few points.
Yeah, that makes
Zero.
sense.
Zero.
no.
One fumble, not lost.
2 for 12 on third down. That's hideous. This Commish, this is art.
Yeah, I definitely gonna work on a Substack. We got the formula going on. We've been brainstorming at random times to try to get this spinach team of the week thing going,
Mhm.
which basically it's a team that just creates so many yards and either wins or loses, but just does not get the amount of points you think they should have, or they don't win by as much, or they lose a game such as this one, where they have 521 total yards. Rutgers had 299. They had 314 yards passing, 207 yards rushing. They were rushing for 7.1 yards a carry.
That's not.
And they ran the
That's
ball
not a winning formula
29
for Wisconsin.
times. None of these numbers make any sense.
They
They went-
converted 4 drives on third or fourth down and had 23 first downs. Like the math isn't mathing.
No, this
I
is
mean, I think the key for Washington, if you want to explain this, is they missed 3 field goals.
Yes.
so they missed.
That
they
was,
missed,
I mean,
they
game
missed
you
3
lose by
field
3.
goals. They missed 3 field goals, and they failed to convert on downs twice. So
Yes.
that's essentially. You can call it a turnover on downs, but not an actual like fumble or interception. But those 5
There's
things,
at least 15 points on the table.
yeah,
They had
and
8.5 yards per pass.
yes,
Oh yeah. Just making something out of nothing. Beth, for listeners who aren't aware, what is the spinach analogy you came up with?
It is that you take a large amount of spinach and you cook it and you end up with virtually nothing. Like what looks like a couple of sad little leaves.
Yeah, it's so many leaves, and then it's actually one leaf somehow.
Yeah. I have put 3 large containers into my saute pan. I have heated it up and I've come up with a tablespoon of food.
Mm-hmm.
Spinch.
Spinach
Spinach-
indeed.
that's
But
right.
very dense food.
Yes.
Very dense.
Can we just call this move that Rutgers did to the Huskies the Rutgers rope-a-dope?
Yes.
Basically, Rutgers is on the ropes, like throw all your punches at me. Just rope-a-dope and put him to sleep. Put him to sleep.
There's-
Took care of
Do
business.
you think Greg Schiano looked at his defense and went, "Y'all are gonna get run over, but we're gonna hold them the last bit. This is a bend don't break thing."
It's the
Bend,
bend
but
and
don't
bend
break.
and bend and bend and bend and don't break.
That's right. That steel. That Rutgers steel. Bend
So
and
sure-
bend and bend and bend and bend.
Surely a Big Ten team that's 4-0,
Yeah.
they're ranked, right?
Absolutely.
Because it
Nope.
would be silly if they weren't.
Right.
They just beat a team that was in the college football playoff last year.
Mhm.
This is a ranked team now,
That
right?
doesn't that usually make you number 1 now?
Hey, you know what? We'll get to that. I'm okay with this. I have actually never been happier than seeing Texas drop to 2. Now, I can breathe again. It's wonderful.
Why is this sounding disturbingly like the arguments for ranking Colorado last year?
Oh yeah, no, that's
Mm-hmm.
I got 2 weeks off of that.
I mean,
Mm.
people were talking about Colorado, You have to reflect that.
Pitt Girl, did you watch any of Oklahoma 27, Auburn 21?
I got home just in time to watch the very, very end of this game, but there was a lot of it on the Blitz, to the point that I was on an interstate that shall remain nameless, driving at a speed that I will not disclose, and I heard them play, or I heard the clip of Peyton Thorne throwing the pick six, and I'm driving at a speed that I will not disclose, and I literally take one of my, and it's raining, and I literally take one of my hands off the steering wheel and just slap myself in the forehead and continue driving.
A highway facepalm.
Yeah, basically highway safe facepalm. I was not covering my eyes.
That's right.
Just the,
Well,
like,
you don't want to smack your glasses, you know.
Right.
no,
Yeah.
no, because then they're all smudgy. I got to get my lens wipe out.
Like,
And
it's
so
like
much
you
work.
took a shower with them on.
I mean, mine are.
Jordan, I'm sure your glasses are filthy.
Oh, I'm not gonna put them up because then my camera will be fucked up. The focus won't fix, so I'm not gonna do that. I've learned my lesson.
Well,
I was
I mean,
hoping
how would the glasses be filthy if they always go in the shower?
Water spots.
Water spots.
I'm just imagining Jordan like spritzing his face with jet dry.
Rain-X wipes for his glasses.
Oh, that's what I need. Yeah.
I
And
told
tiny,
you.
tiny little windshield wipers.
They
Wax
had
my
glasses
lenses.
like that, right? Didn't they make glasses like that?
Isn't
Like
that
in
like,
Revenge of the Nerds or
wiper?
something.
it's like
Yeah.
a Get Smart thing?
This Auburn threw the most it's just over pick six I've seen in a long time.
I haven't watched the clip, but I know exactly what that pick six looks like.
Right. You don't have to even.
And they did, the Oklahoma crew on the call with Learfield on the Blitz didn't even really exactly describe the play, and I still know exactly what that pick looked like.
That pick is written on your heart.
Yep.
I have really quick sidebar. I've really enjoyed listening to the Blitz and listening to college radio this year
Mhm.
and the last couple of years because it gives you such a different mental view of the game, and also you get way more crowd sound.
Mhm.
So it actually feels like you're there.
It's great. I mean, I got my COVID booster this weekend, and immediately I put that 5G to work right there, just getting that college football blitz on the varsity app.
I also love that because I have squirrel brain, and especially because I was driving and I got to pay attention to, various people doing various things on the interstate. They always tell you where they're going, but sometimes I lose track of where they've gone to, right? And it's just kind of fun to be like, okay, so it sounds like the color guy has an upper Midwestern accent. We must be listening to the Minnesota game now. That's always super fun. Like, I love the accents.
You're required to get the most of your fan base person accent
Mhm.
for your radio call. You're required to, I believe. If we lose this in the homogenization, got it, of American accents, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Hold on, real quick. Homogenization. Thank you.
Hey,
I was trying to make a milk joke. It didn't come to me. Okay.
Didn't do
Sooner
it.
magic is greater than Jordan hair magic. Can we just say that at this point?
Maybe
Their
2%
bullshit was
more.
better than their bullshit.
I mean, I think various internet commentators, including those on the Shutdown Fullcast After Dark, are right. Auburn has lost the mandate of heaven. They're not going to get it back until the false emperor is dethroned. All that to say, is that motherfucker fired yet?
Yeah, this is not Auburn, or this is not Oklahoma's first game this year that they won. That you look at the numbers,
Oh no, the Houston game. Yeah.
yeah, it's I don't know, it's weird. It's because you think about Oklahoma as a powerhouse. That's a team that you expect to see them ranked and competing, and it's I mean, they're kind of fluky that they're there.
I mean, the thing that's weird for me about all of this is that I'm still not used to watching an Oklahoma that, not that they can't score, but they don't really want to in the way that
Because their
they used
defense
to.
is so good. That's the
I
wild
know.
thing. We've
But it-
totally flipped.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't like it. It's weird.
Well, speaking of totally flipping, their quarterback, for a 2-point conversion.
Oh yeah, no, they flipped.
My God, what a flip that was.
Yeah, this
That
is an
hurt me.
Oklahoma team that has like respect themselves like an RPG character, and they took all of their offensive like all their points that they'd had put in offense and put them in just voodoo bullshit.
So they're a paladin.
Yeah, just Constitution numbers, huge. Just shoving full of Constitution numbers. This is so bizarre to watch this version of Oklahoma, which means that I guarantee a Oklahoma win in Red River Rivalry.
I like how the sound never plays perfectly.
No, it doesn't. It comes through even worse. Like
on the
when you
recording,
actually
it's great.
listen
I like
back.
how it's when
Like,
you
we
listen
hear
back,
it
it's just worse.
better. Yeah, we hear it better now than it will be when our listeners hear it.
And to be clear, listeners, it also sounds like shit for us.
Oh yeah, it sounds like tinny in here for sure.
You can really only hear the mooing and the cannons going off.
I adjusted the levels to try to make it more pleasant for y'all. It didn't work.
So do you think that you're going to be able to deal with this game with just like an even keel, sort of an equanimity? Because you've already decided what the result is going to be?
Yeah, Oklahoma's going to win this thing. Oklahoma by 30.
Okay, so we can all report back about, how calm and collected Jordan was throughout this game.
Listeners, this is the only game of the year that I intentionally single view. Like, I carved this out as my one game of the year that I don't, like, game that where the other games are on, that I just, yeah, we'll get to this later in 2 weeks. We're way off on Red River. This is the second game in a row where Auburn's post-game winning expectancy from Bill C over ESPN was greater than 75%. Like, this is when Hugh Freeze starts talking about, 9 times out of 10 we would have won this game. This is what he's poorly interpreting. But he wouldn't be wrong here. 3 out of 4 times Auburn wins that game-ish. Asterisk.
You do not have to. You do not, under any circumstances, have to hand it to Hugh Freeze.
Advanced analytics.
Not.
Can you imagine the first time someone walked into his office and tried to explain this to him?
The only thing that Pitt Girl wants to hand Hugh Freeze is a pink slip.
That is correct.
Yes, that's it. That's the only thing you got to hand it to him, according to Pitt Girl. Oh yeah.
I need a rim shot. We'll go with that. That's what needs to happen to him. Another 1-point win. Duke 21, North Carolina 20.
Another one of those weird comeback games. North Carolina up 20-0. 20-0.
This one was a great one to be listening to on the Blitz because they covered the first quarter of it and then they just stopped talking about it.
Yeah.
And it's another one where I got home and I was like, huh. Okay.
I don't know how this game flipped, but it's complete North Carolina domination. North Carolina settles for a field goal in the third quarter to make it 20-0. They settle for a 37-yard field goal, so it's a prime number field goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then Duke rises from the ashes. Their offense shows up out of nowhere here. After they get the field goal in the third quarter, Duke was like, okay, fine. 8 plays, 60 yards, touchdown. North Carolina punt. All right, 11 plays, 85 yards, touchdown. It's 2014.
Oh, they did the whole fucking length of the field. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah. Then punt again. Duke then turns it over on downs. Guess what? North Carolina goes 3 plays, negative 10 yards, punt again. Duke goes 4 plays, 50 yards, touchdown. 21-20. They got the extra point.
God.
North Carolina then goes 5 plays, punt. Duke goes 6 plays, 32 yards, punt. And then 8 plays, 35 yards, interception. Duke's going to win the football game. And the party deck goes wild.
Is 5-0 Duke any good?
I don't know. I don't know that we need to ask that question about Duke.
I'm just happy for 5-0 Manny Diaz. Way to go, Manny.
Good for them. No need to question it. I will say, it is going to suck next week when North Carolina still beats Pitt.
That is correct.
Yeah. Oh, and it's going to be super pointsy too.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, 100%.
This is going to be a shootout.
Angry Mac Brown fires back at Pitt.
No, but he was done. He man, it feels like I know Mac's old, but it feels like he thinks he's starting to feel old too. He just doesn't have the where's the dude in the puppy jacket screaming on the sideline?
Mac Brown has considered his own mortality.
I mean, he's 73.
Yeah. Put him on the ice floe. He's done.
Jesus. Yikes.
Mac Brown walks into the woods.
Mm-hmm. Hey y'all, gotta go catch a internal existence. I'll see y'all. It's the end of Good Place, but Mac Brown. Okay. Old Dominion 30, Bowling Green 27. Bowling Green is the best 1-3 team in this country. I will not be taking any further questions.
Justice for Bowling Green. Seriously, justice for Bowling Green.
Bowling Green, I love them so much. I just don't. Just, I was worried about if Old Dominion had some like ODU magic, and they had it. They found it. It was just basically they borrowed it from Bowling Green. And it seems like, you know, them tackling each other, the crazy magic like pass from one team to another, because ODU, again, not necessarily in this game
No.
in a good shape at all. But you're just like, okay, let's do the thing. Here we go. Old Dominion gets out to a 14-7 lead after the first quarter. And then it's just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I'm like, this is incredible. Bowling Green takes the lead with 3:01 left in the game. And ODU gets a touchdown with like 24 seconds left to just basically rip the heart out of Deutsche Perry Stadium. Just, I mean, unbelievable. And a 13-play, 79-yard drive in 2 minutes and 31 seconds.
Good
That's a lot of plays to get off in that amount of time.
And that
Yeah.
I think there's another team that may have did more later.
Yeah, I mean, I just like that Bowling Green, they played Old Dominion about as close as they played like Penn State and Texas A&M.
That's
It was like,
that's
oh,
the
they
thing.
just came up short again.
Three
Old
houses
Dominion's
alike
head
in
coach,
dignity.
Ricky Ronnie, he is a member of the James Franklin coaching tree. So maybe that's where that came from. But, you know, just I'm looking forward to see if Bowling Green can keep this up the rest of the way.
They're still 0-0 in the MAC. They still have a clear path to the title game.
Mm-hmm. When you think about it, nothing's really happened, Bowling Green.
Just heartbreaking losses, apparently.
God. Was Arkansas A&M as stupid as we thought it was going to be? Arkansas 17, A&M 21.
Arkansas had a chance to win the game, and then they turned the ball over.
Another just dagger interception from this weekend.
I think this was a fumble, right?
Live Bedlam.
Yeah, Arkansas lost the turnover battle in this one, I believe 3-0. So it wasn't just one turnover that did it. And they outgained Texas A&M. Like, they would have won probably with, I mean, heck, maybe even one fewer turnover. But that's not really how it goes when these two teams get together at Jerry World. I want to issue a clarification here.
I was going to ask, what is this?
I want to say, because you know, our podcast dropped last week, and then a few days later, Marshall Pruitt of Racer.com broke the news that IndyCar is going to have a race in the parking lots around Jerry World in 2026. It's starting in 2026. So I just want to issue a clarification. Like, I am not saying I want to see more sporting events at Jerry World, right? Like IndyCar, like I wasn't saying you should go race there. Just this specific game, Arkansas, Texas A&M, that I honestly, I think they should contract the Dallas Cowboys, dedicate Jerry World just to that game. Move the Cotton Bowl somewhere else. Just
to the Cotton Bowl.
Arkansas A&M Stadium. Yes.
There is something so American and so Texan specifically, no offense, Texans, about putting a road race in a bunch of parking lots. I kind of love it.
We'll talk about the Dallas Grand Prix that went around the Cotton Bowl.
Parking lots is roads.
Yeah, technically, yes. They should make them just go in between the spots. Like, they can't go in the spots.
I like that.
Yeah. No spots allowed.
Yeah, this is just A&M. A&M did what A&M does. They score more points in this game, and they win.
They won. That's what they do.
Nope.
You don't have that on your soundboard?
No, the honk. I don't have it yet. Let's do one or two more games, then we'll get on to our ads. Southern 38, State 21. Southern, not State. I had memory hold that Christian Villieu went to Georgia State. He's still a Panther.
Yes, he is. We love Christian Villieu. Still unclear about how that name is supposed to be pronounced. Depends on which Villieu or Vier you ask. But he apparently, and I'm learning this from the show notes, went 23 of 45 for 356 yards, 2 TDs, and 3 interceptions. So, Christian Villieu, come on down. You are a Detmer front runner, I am sure. We love to see it.
We'll do our ad read now. First off, our Sickos poll for October is open. The link is on the timeline. We need you to vote. Commish, when are we closing that poll?
Tuesday, October 1st, 9 p.m. Central. So if you're listening to this on the day that the podcast comes out, on the 1st of October, better vote. We'll be bugging you on the timeline in between the ether before this podcast comes out.
And a reminder from our dedicated professional spreadsheeter, Kevin. Please check.
The Lord of the spreadsheets.
Yes, please check on the spelling of Cincinnati. We do not use the silent K in Cincinnati whenever we write it.
Also, please trust us. We do know what your school is. You do not need to say Cincinnati Bearcats. You do not need to say Pitt Panthers. Just Pitt is sufficient. But also, why are you voting for us? We're undefeated. Go vote for Florida State, folks.
Don't be trying to sway the poll.
People were going to vote for Florida State anyway.
It's true. Check out the College Football Blitz for 12 hours every Saturday. We've already talked about it today. They cut back and forth between all of the games across the country, the radio calls. So you get to hear the local radio flavor of dozens of games all day long. At this point, I literally turn on my quad box, mute everything, and just put the Blitz in my ear because that's better listening half the time. You can get that for free, either the link that we post every Saturday or through the Varsity app, which is a free download on iOS and Android. And if you respond to our thread every Saturday morning, you get the chance to win a Sickos Committee koozie. So look out for that. We'll pin it so you know where it is. Check out our link tree on our Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky profiles for various discounts. Our Patreon for $5 a month. You get access to our Discord, which gives you access to weekly ratings debates, live chats during games, holler-in, research, and a bunch of other stuff. Our merch store, sickoscommittee.org, has cool things like wine glasses, can-shaped glasses, stickers, shirts, koozies, magnets, and shirts and hoodies, and much more. We're adding stuff all the time, so check it out. We post some random bits of it every Saturday when I think about it. Check out our YouTube channel, our Instagram, our Twitch, our Substack, where we're doing our Sickos Stat Summary and weekly Sickos Awards. Shout out to Message Board Geniuses podcast. They go to the places we refuse to go, like Florida State message boards this weekend. Yikes. And as always, home field apparel for the softest, comfiest, officially licensed collegiate apparel. What are we wearing tonight, kids? See a West Virginia hoodie. Commish has a Wyoming. Oh, the Wyoming Pete, running Pete. Beth is also has a Nova Nation shirt, and Arthur is going with the Oregon corduroy hat, and I am wearing the Rainbow Warriors shirt. 15% off.
I am falling down on the job. Sorry, home field. I still love you.
15% off your first order with home field using offer code yes, ha ha ha, yes, 3 ha's. And our Sickos hat showcase. We still have a big collection of hats available from games throughout the year. Use offer code yes, hat, yes for 25% off selected hats. Does not have to be your first order.
I'm shooting for a Big Ten game this week.
Ooh.
I don't know which one I'm getting. I'm hoping it's one that Arthur wants, but I haven't got the go-ahead as of yet.
Oh.
Waiting for it. Commish, I need you to tell me about San Diego State 21, Central Michigan 22.
Quad box special of the day here.
I did not get to this one.
Oh my God. This game was phenomenal. All right. So it's in Mount Pleasant. Again, this has the feel of a regular season potato bowl or Arizona Bowl when the Mountain West and MAC get together. But San Diego State decided to go all the way to Mount Pleasant, Michigan for this game. And it was not pleasant for them at the end of this one. San Diego State is up to 21-19. They miss a 33-yard field goal to make it 24-10. Then the next drive, Central Michigan throws an interception with 2 minutes and 17 seconds left. This is the point of the graph that says that San Diego State has a 99.9% chance of winning this game.
They did it.
The most dangerous percentage in college
The
football.
most dangerous percentage in college football again.
What are you talking about? They did it.
They did it. Central Michigan had all three of their timeouts here, so lucky for them, they did this. San Diego State goes 4 plays for 1 yard, and they miss a 28-yarder to make it 24-19. So this drive ended basically right around the 2-minute taboo tickle, whatever the hell we're supposed to call it.
Hey Beth, the 2-minute tickle.
Central Michigan, you remember you said that's a lot of plays for that short amount of time? Well, Central Michigan goes 15 plays for 52 yards in a minute 51. And they hit a 46-yarder for the win with 5 seconds left.
That's so many plays.
That is actual clock commanding.
That
like
is,
they were, in fact, in command of the clock.
Look, Jim McElwain in command of Sharks and the clocks. But, really, the Chips just fired up after winning this one. Their kicker.
That's 4 seconds per play.
Yes. They were. This is, if you go back and watch this is a masterful drive, but they only got to the 46-yard field goal. Like they didn't even get within the goal line. They didn't even get into the red zone, but they probably needed a few more minutes to get to the red zone the way that they were moving 15 plays. But the Chips, they hit basically almost a walk-off field goal and they win it. And I mean, this was just incredible. San Diego State fans are just distraught after this one. They had it. They could have sealed it, but then it just all went wrong all of a sudden. And I mean, a 15-play, 52-yard drive in a minute 51 is absolutely incredible.
Eastern Michigan 52, Kent State 33. Eastern Michigan Kent State put up a hell of a fight, but it wasn't going to happen. Remember, Kent State's on QB3, Tommy Ulatowski.
Yeah.
Did well. 15 for 28, 345, 3 TDs, 1 interception.
He was just like throwing everything with every ounce of his body, and it was amazing. He was like, whatever. And, they were trading blows with Eastern Michigan up front, and then they just kind of ran out of gas, which is understandable. But Eastern Michigan, Chris Creighton, looking good.
Oh, I don't want to believe it. I'm not going to say it because I'm not going to chase this fucking season for them.
They got beef.
Northern Illinois 17, NC State 24. The powers of the CW fueled the Wolfpack to this win.
The Huskies had a shot here at the end, and
I never felt like it was in danger. Like
they had a drive to tie, but they just couldn't get it in the gear.
Big Noon Friday, the jewel of the morning. Saturday.
Big Noon.
Michigan 27, Minnesota 24. This was Big Noon Saturday.
It was Big Noon Saturday. I know. Friday. How did we arrive at Big Noon Friday?
I don't know. Big Noon Friday is what I just do. That's me. You call it Casual Friday.
Big Noon Friday is like a very particular figure drawing day at art school, I think.
Big Noon Friday is the nice buffet at the strip club.
The one with the shrimps that don't give you listeria?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're not going to get Legionnaires from these. Nothing. Not going to help me branch back into the game. No one's going to help me here.
Nope.
You
Minnesota
painted this
24, Michigan 27. Minnesota was down 21-3 at the half. Another game where just couldn't get him in the ground and zombie Goldie's climbing at you.
You said Michigan was down.
No, Minnesota was down 23,
Oh, okay.
21-3 at the half. Yeah.
It's okay.
Michigan got bailed out by an onside kick penalty. I have never seen someone call offsides on an onside kick. I feel like that is.
I have, but they seem to have recovered it early too.
I mean, sure.
Yeah.
The Minnesota story is that Michigan got bailed out by the onside kick and also the refs.
Totally.
But
I will say, Cooper DeJean really enjoyed the offside call. The Iowa player, from the invalid fair catch, he really, he quote tweeted it and with a bunch of laughing emojis, and that again, Iowa and Minnesota, they hate each other so much. It's, I was wearing the let me sneak right past you home field shirt for this one, and once they went down, I was like, well, I guess I'm bad luck in the shirt. And then they started to come back, and I was like, oh, they may sneak right past them, but unfortunately, no. They almost did it. They almost pulled it off.
Now, Pitt Girl. I don't know how much you heard about Nebraska-Purdue.
Nothing.
Okay. I'm going to give you the final score. Nebraska 28, Purdue 10. That feels good, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That is a lie.
Okay.
This thing was 0-0 for so goddamn long.
Oh, that's true. I did see the Noop memes.
Noop.
I mean, people were right. Poon is worse.
Yeah, I'm glad Nebraska was not home.
Can I say poon on this podcast? Is that an okay word?
You can say whatever the fuck you want on this podcast.
Okay,
right,
cool.
I
HR.
might censor it.
Is it okay, HR?
Yeah, it's great. Poon's fine.
I mean, I don't know if I would say that this score is a lie as much as like it just, Nebraska, it just took them a while to get into gear. They had that game against Colorado where they didn't score in the second half. They had to even it out by not scoring in the first half.
That's true. And they scored
like,
28 in each of those games. And it was 28 on each side, too.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
Perfectly balanced Nebraska.
Yeah, I mean, this is something where I looked at it, it's like, oh, they haven't gotten going yet. But, like, the state of Purdue, it's not like they were about to, like, score themselves. I mean, they did end up scoring 10 points in this game, but, like, I don't know. I never felt like Nebraska. I was never on, like, ooh, upset watch or something.
Here's a fun bit for y'all. First 4 Nebraska drives. And on the Purdue 39, punt. And on the Purdue 24, field goal attempt miss. And on the Purdue 37, punt. And on the Purdue 26, field goal miss.
See, that says they were already, Nebraska was moving the ball. They were bound to break through at some point.
They had 2 field goals blocked.
Yeah.
This is some Big Ten. There was a lot of that this weekend.
I love the drive chart in the first half, which that's my favorite post. It's just a drive chart where nobody does anything and just screenshot it. And then make we see you, Iowa State and Houston. You can't get away from us. Or this one, you just go noop. That's it. Has anybody scored? Nope.
Jordan, can I get a Photoshop of Pingu with the noop at the bottom?
Oh, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that.
Pitt Girl, when you said perfectly balanced, like things should be, I just imagine the scales of justice balanced with like ears of corn.
Nebraska is just teaching us that sometimes it takes a little while to get the combine started.
That is correct.
Fucking pull starts. This was bad enough that Purdue fired their offensive coordinator today.
The idea.
Do you want any more of that?
Pull start
Do you want any more of that offense? Nope.
Indiana 42, Maryland 28. 5-0 Indiana, first time since their Rose Bowl season in 67.
Talk to your kids about undefeated Indiana. Those of you with kids, have you talked to your kids about undefeated Indiana?
You can't make me unless I sign a form.
Can we wake Maryland up now that September has ended?
Yeah, no, it's done now. Curtis Rourke, Indiana's quarterback, had 0 interceptions through the first 97 attempts of the season. And then the last 2 attempts, 2 interceptions. It was great. Yeah. Arthur, you have a game for us?
I do. I want to play a little game real quick. This is going to be a game where the 4 of you are going to guess a number based on, I have ESPN's FPI pulled up here. I want you to tell me about Indiana's projections, right? They've already hit 5-0. I think it's kind of interesting because there are some of these teams that are undefeated where, like they've done what they had to win games. Like Indiana, every game so far, they have won in a very commanding fashion.
Very
Now,
Yep.
they might not have played a bowl team yet, but you can only play who you play, and they've played against their competition like they are a really good team.
Mhm.
So my
Yeah.
questions, I have a couple that I'm going to ask you, and you just have to say a number,
Okay.
and then whoever gets closest gets the point. So according to ESPN's FPI, how many games is Indiana projected to win this season? And I'm going to say for this one, you go to the decimal. Don't give like a whole number because then I feel like people would not have different numbers.
I'm going to go 9.5.
8.5.
7.2.
I'm just going to go straight up 9. No decimal.
Okay, Jordan is the closest with 9.5. The actual answer, by the way, you guys were all under. The actual answer is 9.9.
Ooh.
10 Indiana.
Yeah, it's interesting because that number I think does factor in a Big Ten conference championship game that theoretically they could win some portion of.
We are not living in that great type of timeline. There's no way we get that.
All I'm saying is that their win-loss total adds up to 12.2. So there's that implies, I guess what, a 20% chance of them being in the Big Ten championship game.
How stats work, but close enough.
Yeah, something like that. But by the way, their chance of winning out is 1.9%. They do have Ohio State on the schedule.
They do welcome in Michigan too, so.
Well, I looked. FPI has Indiana favored in all of their remaining games except at Ohio State.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Sure,
They're
but, like,
already
honestly,
5-0.
they're
FPI
already-
has them in 6 of the last 7.
They're already 5-0. The schedule is not like that difficult, and like
Okay.
they can score, and Michigan kind of can't.
Well, outside of Ohio State, all of the like teams that I think are probably the best teams left on their schedule, they get at home.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like they're going to Northwestern, to that
Commish,
beautiful
I
Lakefront
snap to
Stadium.
the timeline.
They're going to Michigan State, but like a lot of their other Big Ten games are at home. So they get that. But then, okay, so next question.
Post.
What do you think is the percent chance ESPN's FPI gives Indiana of making the college football playoff? So I'm looking for a percentage here.
Oh God.
Oh God.
10.
15.
31.8.
I'm going to say the last time they went to the Rose Bowl, it's 19.67.
Okay, Beth, you are closest, but once again, everyone is still too low.
Yes!
Because ESPN's FPI gives Indiana a 39.6% chance of making the playoff.
Link
God.
that. I need to see this. This is too much. Throw it in the chat.
I'm not going to link it until I finish this, because then you can click on it and see the other numbers.
Okay, Jigsaw, keep going.
All right.
That's almost a 2 in 5
game?
chance of making the playoff. It's a little hard for FBI to maybe project that because this is the first year of the expanded playoff, so we might not know exactly.
Yeah,
like,
but like 10-win Big Ten team has a good argument, so I see how the stats got there.
If we take the label off, it's just a 10-win Big Ten team.
Penn State misses the playoff because of Indiana.
Yes. Okay, continue.
Oh, God.
Okay, the last one. What do you think the percent chance FPI gives Indiana of winning a national championship? On this one.
Oh God. 7%.
7%. Okay.
I'm gonna say 1.3.
4.5.
14.8.
Okay, well, so actually now everyone's too high there. So FPI gives Indiana a 0.8%
Okay,
chance.
so I was
of
Sorry,
winning that
believing you
championship.
assholes.
That's
Yeah.
still
But-
so many percent for Indiana.
There are only a handful of teams that are better. I mean, there's 4 teams that are better than 10%, and it falls off pretty rapidly there. And there's maybe like a dozen teams that are kind of in that range. Like, I don't know. Like, for the record, FPI thinks Indiana is the 16th best team in the country.
They're undefeated. I think that's not an insane assessment.
Yeah. So I don't want to say like Indiana is going to do all this, right? Like, I don't want to put pressure on them and jinx them, but I do want to prepare you just in case. Like, this is the first time I've just kind of glanced at something and it's just suddenly jumped off the page. Is like, wait, like this could theoretically happen. And I've seen something like this happen with other teams in the past where it's like, wow, the computer really likes this team. And then they've been like really good. So there are times when, the clock hits midnight and, Cinderella's time is up. But there's times when you keep expecting that to happen and it never happens. You get to the end of the season, you're like, yeah, I guess the computer was right.
Raging Cajuns 41, Wake Forest 38, 800K check cash, baby.
Wake had a field goal to tie the game at 41-41, and it missed. And the team equipment people that hold the balls or whatever, the equipment folks, there was one for Wake underneath the goalpost, and there was a little bit of a reaction there. Yeah, and like they missed the field goal, and then the Wake person was just like it was a bit of a reaction, just a nice little like, oh, what, we missed it. Just at the end, and they lost the game. I love the graphic from the Cajuns. It's a picture of the swamp, and then it just says no Wake zone, and I'm like, it's perfect.
That's excellent.
Okay.
Good job. Good job, Cajuns. Nice win.
I was thinking about this when Jordan asked about the theme of the week before we started talking about all the games, based solely off of what I had heard on the Blitz and the 2 games that I got to watch after I got home.
Mhm.
And I think this week might also be missed field goal week.
Yeah, that could also very much be it. I need to look at the numbers. It feels like there were way more this week than usual.
It felt like a lot. There were 3 in the Penn State game.
Colorado 48, UCF 21. Our policies do not talk about Colorado, but like they looked good. UCF did not.
Gus, are you
Travis-
okay?
Travis Hunter needs an invite to New York City right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Travis Hunter is the real deal. Is the rest of Colorado? Question mark. But Travis Hunter, yes.
I have no idea what happened there. But that was like, whoa, what the? I mean, it was one of those where I just didn't say anything because I was just watching. Like, this is happening. Yep. Okay.
Washington State 24, Boise State 45.
Oh.
Yeah.
I fell asleep on the couch and this game got out of hand.
Yeah, if y'all fell asleep early, this one was at least a little neck and neck until it was not.
Yeah.
Ashton Jeanty, man. 259 yards, 4 TDs. I got to see 2 of my favorite players, John Mateer as well, QB for Washington State, who just like fucking goes crazy. It's great. Commish, you want some fun? You're gonna have those fun stats about Ashton Jeanty?
Yeah. Ashton Jeanty carried the ball 26 times for 259 yards and 4 touchdowns. And 4 games in, Ashton Jeanty has the same number of yards from scrimmage as Kennesaw State. 4 games in, Ashton Jeanty has scored the same number of points as ULM.
He is a one-man.
ULM mentioned.
Like, go back, listeners, if you haven't watched the highlights.
ULM, same point.
Go on our timeline, find the Jeanty highlights, because people are just falling off of him. He is extremely athletic. has the ability just to be a bowling ball, but also has the ability to make very nimble
So
and gazelle-like turns too.
somebody said on the timeline, like, this is the top 5 running back in the NFL before he even gets to the NFL. It's incredible. Just watching him run is amazing. He scored a 2-yard touchdown, and I just quote tweeted the touchdown. I was like, this has got to hurt his average.
Yeah. Oh, it takes it down. Didn't have enough room to
It's
work.
only a 2-yard rush. It brought it down.
Yeah, I mean, on the season, he's averaging more than 10 yards a rush. So
He has 874 yards rushing, 13 touchdowns in 4 games.
That's so many.
Someone in the idea thread drop Ashton Jeanty rushing yards versus entire team's rushing yards so far.
Yeah.
I will get I will get those numbers out.
I'll put that in there.
I mean, yeah, like the number I'm looking at is the Kennesaw State one, where it's a real battle, just yards from scrimmage. The whole team, or this dude on Boise State.
Tulane 45, USF 10. Yep, Tulane had this the whole time.
This was not close. This was
their time of possession was amazing.
So you wanted to know, what is the longest non-scoring drive? I gave you one earlier in the podcast, but Tulane wins it this time. Tulane wins it. Tulane is up 45-10. They get the ball on their own 40 with 11 minutes and 59 seconds remaining. They go 17 plays, 55 yards in 11 minutes and 29 seconds.
Just clock
and
bleed.
And it's a turnover on downs. But you know why it's a turnover on downs?
No, this is better.
Because the wave is merciful. The wave got to the 1-yard line of South Florida at the 2-minute timeout and just kneeled 3 straight plays.
Oh, that's almost worse.
It is, you think, right? Instead of them going in for a score.
Oh my God. That's the good job, little buddy.
It's just like the merciful wave. We kneel to you. And kneeled it out. And that is the longest non-scoring drive of the week. The great merciful.
That's so mean.
The merciful.
Good job,
Green
sport.
Wave.
You want to turn?
Oh God.
What South Florida did with their one play with 30 seconds left, they ran one play and then they just let the clock run out. So they didn't try anything either. I wanted to say that Coach John Summerall.
This was good.
Found a tweet from a South Florida account, and that said that this coach is hyping up his team for South Florida. South Florida's gonna kill him, and there's no way. And then he just quote tweeted and he just said "good" after the game, and I'm like, yes, yes, Coach Summerall, just yes,
drag their asses.
Good.
Drag them. Mitsu 7, Memphis 24. About what you think. East Carolina 30, UTSA 20.
Oh my God. There was one play. There was one play in this game where I was like, okay, UTSA is losing this game. There was a play where they're coming after our Detmer darling, Jake Garcia for ECU, and he's about to get obliterated. And he leans back and just launches the ball down the sideline. And you're like, okay, there's good. The UTSA quarterback just falls, and you're just like, oh, it's over. It's like he just touchdown pass. The UTSA quarterback fell down on the play, and it's a touchdown. I'm like, that's it. I don't think UTSA. They missed Frank Harris. They missed the mayor. They missed their wide receivers. It's tough to reload, but UTSA having a bit of a down year, and it's a good win for East Carolina. I mean, they're trying to bring it back up, so it's a good win for East Carolina at Dowdy Ficken, Rowdy Dowdy.
Tulsa 20, North Texas 52. Talk to your kids about 4-1 North Texas. Hell yeah.
I love that North Texas is like the G5 wrecking machine, but when they went to go play a P5 team, they're like, no, we're not even close.
Just fold it up. It's fine.
No, that's done. It's over. But it's crazy.
Did any of y'all, besides Commish, I assume he did, catch any of Texas State Sam Houston?
I
No.
I had it on the quad box, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I turned it off at 22-0. I switched the game out.
Oh.
I switched the game
Oh.
off
Texas State was up 22-0 at the end of the first quarter. Final
at the end of the
score.
first. I was done.
Final
I
score
was like, whatever.
is Sam Houston 40, Texas State 39.
Oh.
Sam
Oh
Houston
my.
claws it back. They win with a 24-yard field goal with 6 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah,
This rivalry that's been done for 10 years came back in the most pyro fucking technic way. Sam Houston State gets a win over Texas State. That's
I was like,
wild shit.
Oh.
everything that could go wrong for Sam Houston in the first quarter did. Everything that could go right for Texas State did in the first quarter. And I was like, okay, I'm going to replace it with a more competitive game. And I rarely do that. And then I'm back on this game in the fourth quarter. I'm like, what the hell is going on? It is back on the quad box. And I just kept seeing Sam Houston clawing back and back and back. And this is one of those ultimate games where there's no way a team could blow this. And they did. It's just
I'm going to argue
everything like flipped. Like
that this is even bigger than the Alabama-Georgia thing.
I was just about to call this the thinking man's Bama, Georgia.
Because, yes, Georgia almost claws back from a 28-0 hole. But the difference between Alabama and Georgia, and the difference between, on paper, Texas State and Sam Houston, this is the more impressive feat. This is the wildest, huge ask, this was bonkers. Because Sam Houston's looked good. We've said this, maybe a bowl team this year. This was not, it wasn't even like they played them close. They got blown out and they got their asses back over there. And they were down 39-21 in the third.
This game had everything. I as soon as I turned it off, after it was 22-0, I turned it off. I think maybe I was jinxing Sam Houston, so I apologize if I did that. Sam Houston goes touchdown. Then Texas State goes touchdown. Sam Houston gets a touchdown. And shout out to Mason Shipley of Texas State. 60-yard field goal. Sun Belt record field goal.
Wow.
60-yarder to make it 32-21 at half. And so this kind of piqued my interest. And then Texas State takes the first drive, touchdown. It's 39-21. You think that's pretty much it, right? No.
Yes.
Touchdown, field goal. They win it. And just unbelievable, Sam Houston. Just hats off to their coach. You can see why he won a national title at FCS level.
We don't ever talk about that because it was the weird year.
Yeah, it was.
Sam Houston won a goddamn national title.
They did. They beat South Dakota State in Frisco. Yep. There's injuries to quarterback there, but yeah, all right.
UMass 20, Miami of Ohio 23. This goes into overtime, and UMass just loses it.
UMass made a kick to send it to OT, and then they turned the ball over. Or they, I can't remember if they turned the ball over and missed a field goal on their turn, and then Miami just had to score. Maction was on fire this weekend. I will say that.
Yeah, no shit, it was.
Yeah.
Marshall 27, Western Michigan 20, BYU 34, Baylor 28. Baylor was dead. Dead. 21-0 in the first half, in the first quarter.
Yep.
And then just 7 points per quarter. Baylor just keeps swimming, just doing the right things. And
here they come, but they just couldn't get over the hump.
Now, Commish, I'll be honest with you. I missed most of Cincinnati 41, Texas Tech 44.
I think a lot of us did.
Because I was watching Georgia, Alabama on my main screen.
No,
all of a sudden, this one got panicky.
This one was we got a clock commander of the week here. Scott Satterfield, nominee here. Clock commander of the week, nominated by I think one of our Discord folks by the name of Animated Lunch. I think that's the name, right?
Yes.
Shout out to Animated Lunch, if that is your real name.
Rolling into the Social Security office. Hi, I'm Animated Lunch.
That's his shell corporation.
It's funny if
for
Halloween they need to change their name to Reanimated Lunch.
Ooh, I like that.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, there we go. So for this one, Clock Commander of the Week nominee, Texas Tech is out to like this game is back and forth, nuts, bonkers, touchdown, 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 and then Texas Tech gets a little bit of separation here. Finally, they get that 10-point lead, and you feel safe, right? No, because guess what? Cincinnati goes down and gets a touchdown. Then Texas Tech goes 4 plays and punts. This is the Clock Commander situation here.
Okay.
So what they stated here is there's a minute 53 left, and Cincinnati needs a field goal to tie. It's a minute 53. They throw a pass complete for 1 yard, lets the clock run. Now it's a minute 26, 2nd and 11 at Cincinnati's 9. Like, they have a lot of field to go. Let's urgency, please. Then they get a first down, 28 yards. They're at Cincinnati's 37. It's a minute 6. Again, they get a 2nd and 9, a pass complete for 19 yards.
Okay.
Now it's 48 seconds. They're on Texas Tech's 43. Then they call timeout. So they timeout with 36 seconds left. They started the
Okay.
drive with a minute 53.
And then
Oh, yes. So then they go pass complete for 6 yards for a first down.
Okay.
Then 32 seconds, a run with 32 seconds left, and they don't have any timeout.
could have used that.
They get 5 yards. So now 13 seconds left, passing complete. 10 seconds left, passing complete. 6 seconds left, they try a 51-yarder and they miss it.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh boy.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Congrats, Cincinnati. You deserve to lose this one for that.
Scott Satterfield, everybody.
Yeah, there was a little bit of clock commandering there. They only had one timeout, and I don't know. But my favorite part about this game, Texas Tech wins the game, and there's a player they're interviewing after the game. They were talking about, what do you think about the win? I was just all about the excitement and the atmosphere. I was just pegged with a tortilla.
Okay. The best joke I saw about this
Mm-hmm.
was that he wasn't the only Big 12 guy that got pegged with a tortilla this weekend.
Heyo!
Well, I think that person probably did it to himself, but
Still counts.
count it.
That picture was all over the timeline.
I don't.
Over and over.
I mean,
So-
the For You tab is not for me. I'm gonna say
Yeah,
that.
I told the rest of you guys this story, but I think the listeners deserve to hear it.
Yes, they do.
As regular listeners of this podcast know, obnoxiously Pitt boyfriend doesn't like football, but he is on Twitter and he does like enough of my tweets and our tweets that football things end up on his For You tab. And and mind you, I had not seen any of this because I was driving. And obnoxiously I get home and obnoxiously Pitt boyfriend is like, I saw the guy with the burrito up his ass, and I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he explains. And then he said, and I'm like, how did you get that? And he says, well, it wasn't originally in my For You tab. I just saw the tweet where the guy says, my wife found out I'm cooked. And I clicked into it, and then I saw it. So, you know, yeah,
Congratulations, obnoxiously Pitt boyfriend.
yeah. Congrats, you've seen a guy with a 5-layer burrito up his ass. You know, it's a normal thing to see on the internet, I guess.
Kansas State 42, Oklahoma State 20.
Beth's face.
Look,
Yeah, anyway, Kansas has paid its penance.
Kansas State has paid their penance, and that's how they obliterated Oklahoma State. So
They are now
shout out.
living moss.
Again,
Mhm.
I mean, it seems like the Florida State guy. Look what happens when you
Mhm.
pay off your bet.
A karmic debt is owed.
Mm-hmm.
Can we
Live
talk a little about ACC refs?
Yes.
Miami 38, Virginia Tech 34 on Friday night.
in a
Oh,
Virginia
normal football game.
Virginia Tech like shoved Miami around for a lot of this. Miami sort of just outduted them at one point. That's fine. Virginia Tech was running for 7 yards of play.
I'm gonna disagree that Miami outduted them. Miami
Really?
got lucky as hell, and the Leighton Canes fan inside of me was awoken in this game because I felt the hostility between Virginia Tech and Miami again. It felt like a Big East game. It felt like I felt something again for Miami, and I was just like, yeah, like this game had me like into it. It sucked me in, and this game was amazing. I loved every moment of this game, except the few at the end where I think I partially died, but then came back to life. So this game, Jesus Christ, man, the ACC refs were just like not great for both teams.
So let me
I hate
see.
doing that.
Let me talk about the Hail Mary.
Okay,
Virginia
we're doing this
Tech-
backwards.
You go ahead and lead into it then. Go ahead.
No, you can do it if you want to do that ending where you do it backwards.
Yeah, sure. This is advanced storytelling. Virginia Tech hits a Hail Mary on the last play of the game. It is called a touchdown on the field.
Mm-hmm.
That's the important thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But the replay booth overturns it, saying the next day that a out of bounds Miami player touched the ball. So the play was immediately dead at that point.
Jordan, you're omitting the most important part of this, which
It
is
took
that the
10 minutes?
review took 10 minutes. I don't know if it was actually 10 minutes, but it certainly fucking felt like 10 minutes.
It felt forever.
It was a long time. It took much, much longer than it reasonably should have taken. I think the call was ultimately correct, but the process was absolutely horrific. And I am sympathetic, though I don't necessarily agree with it, to the strain of thought that is like, oh, this is the ACC making a business decision.
Ooh.
This is I'm gonna go with, at the time, I thought that the call on the field was probably wrong, but that there was not enough to overturn it. Therefore, ... But
Yeah, I don't know that there's enough to make a call. Like, I can't imagine making that call on the field. I don't know that there was enough on video review to overturn it in either direction. So, like, this is a process issue.
I mean, once I wish they had explained. I don't know that they even knew. They said the ACC came out this morning and said, "Oh, it was because the Miami dude was out of bounds, touched the ball, it plays dead." That's not how it was. Like, that never came up in the broadcast last night. I'm just gonna put it that way.
Can we talk about adding an Uncle Ben's Ready Rice provision to the ACC refs?
Okay.
That they
Gotta
are
be ready.
permitted they are permitted to review plays for as long as it takes me to microwave a pouch of Uncle Ben's Ready Rice. And after that, their review is over, no matter
90
what has
seconds.
happened. You got 90 seconds.
You got the
Wait,
Uncle
does-
Ben's pouch of ready rice.
Right.
Does this mean you would have like cooked rice every time there's an ACC replay review?
Yes.
The command center throws in the bag. They tear off the two sides of the Uncle Ben rice, put it in the microwave. Just hit the 30-second button 3 times.
3 times.
go.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's the time you got. So I'm gonna try to remain unbiased here. We have Virginia Tech fans in our DMs on Instagram and saying they marched on Charlotte office. They're furious about this. They ruled it a catch. There's nothing to overturn it. Personally, again, I don't understand how you could rule it a catch on the field. But they did. So it's kind of like, okay, well, you got to overturn it. But as soon as it hit the ground, you can kind of see the ball do a little shimmy. And
Yeah.
the Miami player is out of bounds at that time, touching when that ball is doing a little shimmy. So I'm like, okay, maybe that was enough to overturn it. But the on-field call, this game was I hate that this game is going to boil down to that, because this game was phenomenal. This
It was.
entire game was nuts. Virginia Tech was this. Oh God, this felt like an early 2000s Big East game, and that's what it awoke in, like that latent Miami fandom. I mean, this felt like, man, just like Ken Dorsey versus Michael Vick. I mean, there was something there. Like, this was like the Thursday night game that you would get. Enter Sandman coming out, and this was incredible. And no matter what Miami kept doing, like, Virginia Tech had an answer every single time. But then Miami got some luckiest shit I've ever seen in my life. The 4th down conversion, where Restrepo fell on his ass. Like, the pass from Cam Ward was just enough. Like, it wasn't thrown hard, because it was thrown hard, Restrepo's on his ass, right? It's going to sail over his head. But Restrepo fell down, but it was just thrown to allow him to run. And since he fell down where he was going to run, he was able to reach up and grab it and get the 4th down.
That's bullshit.
That's
the most bullshit thing I've ever seen.
Wait, there's more bullshit. So Miami continues to drive, and then Cam Ward looks like he is sacked twice. Twice. Looks like he is sacked dead to rights. Shakes off 2 different players while he's being wrapped up by one Virginia Tech player. Just shovels it 2-hand Dr. Pepper, tuition passes it to the tight end, who then
classic throw.
The classic throw. The tight end, who then stiff arms the Virginia Tech defender, and it goes all the way down the sideline, getting knocked out, flying in the end zone, or like 2 yards short of the end zone, which absolutely incredible. I hate that the Hail Mary, non-Hail Mary is the end of this game, because this game was absolutely amazing. I am not the U is back at all. I am guarded. I am gonna stay guarded. My heart was nearly hurt here, and just to see Michael Irvin and like Jason Taylor hug each other at the end of the game when they called it incomplete, which is good. Give me the U down. That's fine.
Friend of the program, Ryan Annie, came into the Discord on Friday night, or at the beginning of the 4th quarter, and just said, "There's gonna be some real weird bullshit that's gonna happen this 4th quarter, isn't it?" and then it just boom, laid it out.
Yep.
Oh, that was a lot of weird bullshit.
Yeah, I have a couple more things I want to say about this game before we move off it. One, we forgot to acknowledge that, because the review sucked so much air out of the room, that when the VT not a touchdown, whatever happened, they did the stadium lights thing.
They did. Like the flashing lights.
Miami thought it was an incompletion and that they had won the game, which was technically true, but it took a while to determine that.
Yeah,
so that was funny.
The stadium lights guy almost got freezing cold taked.
Yes, but also, while Scott Satterfield was a worthy nominee for Clock Commander, I gotta think Brent Pry takes this one just like running away with it.
Yeah.
Because I'm sitting there and I'm on my laptop in the attic of a lake house while my parents are sleeping, trying not to scream at Brent Pry's like insane clock management decisions. One of my Twitter mutuals, Alex Kirshner pointed out, quote, "You can see how Brent Pry was James Franklin, but not as good at the stuff James Franklin was really good at while this was happening," because he allowed like literally almost a minute of game time to just run off the clock because he didn't call his timeouts. Like he could just take them with him. He had two, and he didn't use them. And this is how we ended up in insane long, not a completion hell in the first place.
And he needed a touchdown, not a field goal.
Yeah.
I mean, just I mean, I was baffled. Everybody's like clock commander, and I was like, is he gonna get away with that?
No. Even if he had gotten away with it, that's some clock commander shit. Like
that's probably he's probably clock commander of the week.
I think he has to be. I
Right.
really enjoyed this game. VT was like very much on their beamer ball bullshit for most of this
Yes.
game.
Mhm.
And then but like Kyron Jones is out here like dropping dimes occasionally, like incredibly entertaining football. I understand why VT got hype in the preseason now.
Yeah.
LSU 42, South Alabama 10. LSU didn't decide not to fuck around with this one.
Well,
South
I
Alabama
mean,
is 2-0 on Thursdays and 0-3 on Saturdays now.
Brian Kelly got mad at the quarterback again when it was 35-10. It was great.
I mean, I think he just exists in shades of mad.
Mm-hmm.
BC 21, Western Kentucky 20. So close, Western Kentucky.
Oh, I was like,
Western Kentucky was up and had it, and then BC clawed it back.
I
I
heard
was
the
like-
end of this on the Blitz and I was sad.
it was the one where I was like, Western Kentucky, you need more than 20. You need to get another score. Get another score, and you're safe. Get another score, and you're safe. Get another score, and you're safe. And they just couldn't do it.
Ohio 30, Akron 10. Best helmet matchup of the day by far.
Oh man, the white Akron helmet, and then the Ohio helmet with the word Ohio inside the state outline. Best helmet matchup of the day. Akron battled so hard. It was 14-10, and then the quarterback got sacked and got hurt on a safety, and that was pretty much it.
ULM 13, Troy 9. The good score exists.
God damn it.
It's repurposed. It's a good score here.
We
don't
are
have to
all
worry about-
blessed by the good scores light whenever and wherever it may choose to smile upon
Pitt
us.
had a bye week, and ULM had to just shine something on for the Pitt folks. They benched Booty. Booty benched. Ineffective Booty. Erratic Booty. He
I've
was
been called out before.
He was 1 for 4 for 8 yards and an interception.
Ugh.
It was not good. I'm sorry. Yeah, 1 for 4. I think it was 4 yards and an interception. Then they started doing the rotating the backup quarterback who transferred from New Mexico with Coach Bryant Vincent, and then they had like they're kind of like ULM's Walmart brand Taysom Hill, Hunter Herring, come in the game. They had some great third down conversions where they had the one where Hunter Herring went in and he looked like he was gonna just run up the middle, but they hit with the tight end pass for a conversion late.
Mm-hmm.
The call to seal it had me jump off the couch, and I have it linked here. I don't know if you want to play it. I don't know how much time we got, but it's less than a minute. But it's up to you if you want to play it or not.
We're short on time, so
okay. I'll just listen to it because I jumped off the couch when they converted the 3rd and 7 on the ground to kneel this one out. It was I can't believe this. 3-1 ULM. Woo!
Navy 41, UAB 18. The Trent Dilfer experience might be over there very soon. They let Navy point out pass for 225 yards.
Navy had 2 70-yard plus touchdown passes in this game.
Yeah.
Navy also did not lead the time of possession battle in this game.
Ugh.
Ooh.
Hey, you know how UNLV had lots of feelings about UNLV this past week? UNLV said fuck off. UNLV 59, Fresno State 14.
Whoo!
Just beat that ass.
Yeah.
It was great. Illinois, the counterpart to the Alabama Georgia thing, which we're barely going to talk about because that's us. Illinois and Penn State was on at the same time. Penn State's 21, Illinois 7.
I watched a lot of this game. I watched more of this game than I did of the Alabama Georgia game. Someone had to text me and be like, hey, Alabama's blowing it, because I just committed to this game after Alabama went up big. So the score here is kind of a lie. This game was much closer than it appeared for like 90% of it. It was also just an extremely Big Ten ass game. As I said at the top of the show, it's been raining like for like a week straight here. And so it was just very wet. It was very moist in State College. Penn State missed 2 field goals, 1 wide left, 1 wide right. Illinois also missed 1 wide left. I asked Beth this question, but I would like to leave it as an exercise for the reader as well. I'm truly unsure if those field goals were missed because the field was wet and everything is wet and it's just wet, or because Beaver Stadium is just sort of listing to one side and then listing to the other side, and the kickers are just having a hard time compensating for that.
Engineering school.
Wisconsin 21. I keep wanting to say Southern California. USC 38. Wisconsin led this one at the half.
Alex
then,
Grinch revenge game.
Like
drink.
Wisconsin was looking great.
Yeah.
And then just was like really going to grind them out. And then USC just got pointsy.
Was the Grink there?
I know it was there though in the Alabama Georgia game. My international safety. Iowa State and Houston. I need to get you a final score on this.
It's 20-0.
Was it 20-0? Okay, was that it?
Yeah.
Okay,
that was it.
Oh.
It was 3-0 at halftime.
Oh no, Houston.
Yeah, this was buried on ESPN Plus at the same time as everything else was going on.
I just love this one because the commentator there's a running back for Iowa State. His name is Abu Sama, and he runs into the middle of the pile, and then he breaks out of the pile, and then the commentator just goes, Sama! Abu Sama! Just runs the entire field for a touchdown. It was great.
It was awesome. I was like waiting for somebody to pull out Indiana Jones's heart. I was so happy.
Kalima.
Whose fun fact is this right here?
Oh, I put that in. Yeah, Houston having a fun time. They have back-to-back been shut out. They have not scored. It's a 127-minute scoring drought going through to the game they played back on September 14th.
Man, that's a whole COVID and me getting better since then. Notre Dame beats Louisville on the Peacock. Kentucky 20, Ole Miss 17.
There was a lot of this one on the Blitz, and I was very, very happy for when yet another missed field goal occurred and Kentucky pulled off the upset.
Yeah, this was yet another game that Bill Connolly's post-game win expectancy would have the team that did not get the win favored.
Yep.
The time of possession at the half was Kentucky 21 minutes, Ole Miss like 8.5.
Mhm.
And Kentucky led 10-7 at that point. Kentucky just turned Ole Miss into, it was so good.
God, Lane must be so mad.
He's got to
Just
be furious.
Snapping clipboards.
Kentucky's game-winning touchdown. the quarterback's running into the end zone, fumbles, and it just squirts out to another Kentucky player who just catches it and falls into the end zone for the game-winning touchdown in the lead. And I thank you, Kentucky. We appreciate you so much, Kentucky.
Utah, what happened? What happened, buddy?
Christ. Arizona looking spicy.
Yeah, but also, like, Utah, are you okay?
No.
I mean, I know you're not because Cam Rising is still, like, in the proofing basket somewhere, but, like...
I saw him on the sideline.
If you poke Cam Rising and your finger dent stays in place, then he has proof.
Stop putting Cam Rising in the cooling tub. He needs to be in a warm place so he can continue to rise.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You also got to make sure you shape him properly before he goes in the oven.
That's why that's why he was in pads
old?
on the weekend.
Mm.
Oh,
yeah.
Feed your starter, guys.
Mississippi State at Texas. Y'all, let's just look at the final score. I'm going to say Texas won this game, and that's all we're going to talk about.
I'm
Okay?
just going to say Arch Manning.
I heard too much of this game on the Blitz. I will not buy your bullshit. No.
Look.
Fine.
Arch Manning, he improved. He had 3 touchdown passes and no interceptions. Like he had 2 interceptions last week against ULM. There you go. That's all
fair.
Improvement. That's staunch ULM defense.
In the FCS world, Western Illinois, the Leathernecks broke their losing streak. They beat
They
McKinley.
They did it. I was like, yeah.
One in a row.
They did it.
One in a row.
And then there was somebody in the mentions who were like, well, maybe they'll defeat a Division I school. They still haven't done it since 2020. I'm like, hey, get the hell out the mentions. Let's celebrate Let's celebrate the Leathernecks. Don't be trying to rain on Western Illinois' parade here.
As
Celebrate.
Nebraska fans in our mentions were saying, winning is better than losing.
Yes.
That is correct.
In our Big Sky Bangers, UC Davis beats their first top 5 team in history. They beat Idaho.
That's right.
Woo-hoo!
This
Love
was
to see it.
huge. Idaho with 3 interceptions and failed 4th down conversions.
I feel bad for. We have a lot of like Vandals followers, like the school
We love
itself.
you, Vandals.
The school itself. We have like their school photographers who follow us. There's like anybody associated with them, they follow us, and they were distraught because Idaho had 3 interceptions. There was a 4th down. They probably should have kicked the field goal. And it still came down to an onside kick at the end because they missed the 2. But too many self-inflicted wounds by the Vandals.
Also, Montana 52, Eastern Washington 49. This was an absolutely on fire game the whole time. Montana wins it with some of their bullshit. But it was like, it was so good.
52-49. Great game on the blood red field. It was back and forth. Eastern Washington had a chance to get the onside back, but you know when you do the crazy hop with the onside, it bounces really high. It bounced just a little bit too high and went out of bounds, and Montana survived.
Another Big Sky game, a huge one here. Northern Arizona 34, Sacramento State 16.
Hell yes,
Big,
swing your axe.
In the walk-up Sky Dome.
That was a big win for NAU.
Mm-hmm.
Go on there now.
Other assorted fun. Prairie View beats Grambling in the State Fair Classic in a 5 OT win.
Yes.
The longest D1 game since the 7 OT game.
Yeah.
So like this is a lot. We had a 64-yard QB quick kick punt on the Central Arkansas field, and our entire timeline could just talk. We were like, look at this great punt. And our timeline was like, what the fuck is that field? I can't see anything.
That was, I tweeted, it was like 64-yard punt by the quarterback. It's a quarterback punt. And I didn't even think about the field. I didn't even think about when I tweeted it. I was just like, it's a 64-yard quarterback punt. And the entire mentions, what the hell? What is this field? It's like,
what is this war crime I'm looking at?
We need to know the field. And I was like, oh, it's Central Arkansas's field.
The stripy.
And I was like, this is normal. What do you,
It's the stripy one.
Have you not seen this one before? And like people are like, this field is a crime.
Oh, stop it. Just pretend you're watching Mythbusters.
Mm-hmm. Commish, what is the longest punt of the week?
Shout out to Shane Dunning of Drake. 81-yard punt down at the 2-yard line against San Diego. But the best thing about Pioneer League football here is that he's the punter and the kicker.
Yeah, he is.
He's both. So he went 3 for 3 on field goals, a game-winning 48-yard kick, and an 81-yard punt in the same game. Shout out to Shane Dunning.
And a punt for no gain. Have you seen the video of this yet?
I saw the punt, but they cut away from it. But there was a punt for no gain. And this was the Dayton and Marist game, the random FCS game that I'll put in the top corner of my quad box. And I'll just leave it there the entire time. The Marist field had like a bounce house in the end zone.
Hell yeah.
Like the kids are just jumping in the bounce house the whole time while they're playing.
Hell yeah.
And so there was a punt for no gain, which is basically the punt was blocked. Dayton recovered it and then fumbled it. And then Marist recovered it and then fumbled it. And then basically just punt no gain.
Oh, shit, guys. I forgot one thing. Georgia, Alabama.
What a game.
Yeah, I missed a lot of that. Can someone explain what happened to me?
Jihad.